let's talk about Fugitive. You know, obviously you were on hiatus as a performer since the passing of Riley and basically the end of Power Trip. And then the pandemic came along. How long was it before you were able to sort of get your head in that creative space where you could focus on writing new music, you know, sort of separated from the passing of Riley and some of the obstacles that you had to overcome? When did you finally have a clear head that you were able to focus on coming up with Fugitive?
You know, honestly, I really didn't stop that long. Like, I was writing for the new Power Trip album, obviously, when the pandemic started. I'd been writing before that for the couple of years before that, actually, while we were touring and stuff. And then I was writing definitely at the beginning of the pandemic. I think everybody, when the pandemic started, was, oh, we're stuck at home, let's be really creative. And I think then when shit got really bad, you know, like more into the summer, you know, with everything that was going on just in the country, I think everybody got a little burnout and creativity dwindled. But I kind of kept going because it was really the only thing I could do. And, you know, I have to stay creative. But obviously when all that went down, that was like fall, like August of 2020. Definitely didn't really touch my guitar for, I would say, a few months. I just, you know, didn't really want to. And at some point I was just like, you know, I got to keep being creative and keep working on all this stuff. You know, I feel like I have a lot more to write and all that. So I kept writing, and you know, we finished all that at some point, I'd say probably last summer, and just kind of kept going. And then really the Fugitive thing happened because I'd say about last March, I got like a potential offer to tour with a band and play rhythm guitar, and it didn't end up happening. I can't really share who it was because it was sort of a contingency plan because they were having some internal issues in the band, and it was a really cool opportunity. But basically, I tuned my guitar down a step to learn all the songs, and then just, you know, my guitar was laying around in that tuning, so I just started, you know, I was playing for fun, and then I was like, this is kind of interesting, you know, like I don't usually write in this tuning. I'm always in standard. So I got to just, you know, I started just messing around, and even some stuff I had kind of laying around from writing for Power Trip that maybe, I don't know, didn't quite work as well as I thought. Once I tuned it down a step, it was like, it felt right. So I just started writing some stuff, and then kind of the timing of that, you know, some of my friends in town, like my friend Seth, who sings in Fugitive, he's like a really close friend of mine, and we were just eating breakfast one day, and I think I was like, do you want to do another band? I'm bored. So he was like, yeah. And he had actually, you know, he's in another band, Scourge, and he had really kind of come into his own as a singer. Like I'd heard, I think one of their more recent releases, and they did like the songs were like some of their best songs, but then they also covered the the early Obituary band called Executioner, that like I think the Tardy Brothers were in. I think Trevor was in it too, but they covered a song off like one of those songs, and I heard him kind of doing a more I don't know what you say, like more of like the vocal that I would kind of push for in the studio, like a more of a spaced out verse chorus type thing. And I could just hear his voice. I was like, this could work really well with what I'm writing. So, and then we're also good friends. So it was like, this is a no brainer, you know, this would be fun. Yeah. So I just was like, I'm going to start. And also I wanted just to start jamming with guys around here because, you know, like Chris from Power Trip, he's in Philadelphia. So I can't just go up there anytime and jam with him. I just wanted to jam, you know, I wanted to be in a room with guys and just play because it's been a while. So
where are you now? Are you in the DFW area, or you are?
Yeah, I live in Fort Worth.
Right. Okay.
And then, but you know, Dallas is like 30 minutes away. So sure. I come to Dallas on the weekends all the time, and sure. Everybody's sort of around the Metroplex. So the Fugitive guys are mostly actually in Fort Worth. So like Seth's in Fort Worth, Lincoln from Creeping Death, the drummer, he lives in Fort Worth. And then Andy lives in Denton, the bass player. And Victor's in Austin, but that's the only guy that's not basically from Fort Worth. So, yeah, I just wanted, I think part of it too was like, I just want to do a thing with guys around here so we can have band practices. And like, I miss the early days, like the camaraderie of just having a band practice and drinking beers and like going to eat burgers after, like that. I miss that shit, I mean,
it's a rare thing now, especially with the lockdowns and everything. It's like, it's like it was not allowed, but talking to other bands, like away from Voivod, he was just talking about how, and we talked to Billy Sheehan as well, and it was very, very similar. It's like, in Voivod, it was Snake, the singer, built a studio in his living room, and just, they made the record during the lockdowns.
That's cool.
People were doing that, and they were still trying to be safe because it was kind of crazy. But yeah, I mean, even then, I bet it felt like purpose,
Yeah, well, this was way after that. So this was like, this was in March. So we were actually, things were luckily kind of getting normal again, I'd say by Christmas last year, that was kind of when everybody got COVID. And I think everybody was like, oh, this is not going away and we all going to get it, even if we got vaccinated. So after that, I think 2022 so far has pretty much been, I feel like, business as usual for the most part. So luckily we didn't have to deal with that. We were able to just kind of get together and do everything normally. It made it a lot easier. I wouldn't have wanted, it would have been harder to pull off if we were worried about, masks and COVID and all that shit.
I did some rehearsals during the heavy shit, and like half the people are wearing masks, and luckily it was in a space where I could kind of be like down the hallway because I'm not going to sing with a mask on,
No,
it was weird. It was just weird.
You're enjoying Slipknot for an afternoon.
Yeah. Right.
I was just gonna bust out some sort of Corey Taylor joke.
With the weakest mask. I just had the lamest mask.
I mean, a lot of bands wear masks now. So I guess it's not just a Slipknot thing.
Right. Mushroom
pretty common thing now. Yeah.
But you just to like harp on a point one more time. I miss those days terribly about literally getting in the hot garage and banging out new material, and you don't care if it's 105 degrees. In the middle of Texas when you're being creative like that, when you're juicy like that. So hats off to you for just basically keeping that old school alive when you're being creative. I listened to jump ahead, not fully jump ahead, but I listened to the Fugitive EP today.
It's awesome.
This morning, minutes ago. For the first time, and just trying to play some catch up, and I hear all the cool shit that just even the artwork and the feel and the running order and the way it's put together, for some reason reminded me of like the old school EPs. Like I even hear a little bit of Celtic Frost, but I also feel like when I'm like, all of the accolade, the information I just laid down, I keep thinking of Haunting the Chapel. I keep thinking of that era of tangible release. And all of those awesome memories came back as I'm listening through. I'm literally staring at my phone, looking at the album cover. Whoa, I know this feeling.
This is familiar.
Audibly and just going, wow, looking at the album, and so the cover song I have actually on this weird Bathory record that has all the old demos, like a remastered version of that from '84, the Raise the Dead, which I thought was done extremely well. Just to kind of play show and tell, this is like I'm sure it's a bootleg or something. It's gold vinyl. It's nice. Have y'all seen this before?
I don't know if I've seen that.
I have.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I bought it in a lot. I want to say I got it from a guy in the Bay Area who was just getting rid of some extras. Yeah, I got a lot of kick-ass shit from that guy.
It looks like
anyway, yeah, I love it. And you know, what would you say? What inspired you to cover "Raise the Dead" other than we need another song? What was it? Something that kind of did you in your head?
Yeah.
Were you like this will fit? You know, or what was it?
Yeah. Well, thank you for all the things you said. That's really cool. I mean, that's the goal, you know. I wasn't around back then, but I'm trying to
rub that
capture the
shit,
spirit a little bit.
Rub that shit in.
Yeah.
I was gonna say earlier that, you know, Dave.
No,
you know,
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that in a derogatory way.
No, I'm laughing. I think it's funny.
I was born way too late. No,
Didn't you do this on the last episode?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Kept reminding us how old we are.
I was going to say earlier, but I bit my tongue, which is really hard.
You know what? You guys lived through the golden age, so you got to just deal with it. All right.